The Kansas City Chiefs find themselves steering through perilous waters as the looming threat of a major suspension casts a dark shadow over one of their premier offensive weapons. Rashee Rice, who had rapidly emerged as a dependable playmaker in Kansas City's explosive aerial attack, now stares down the very real prospect of missing significant time due to legal entanglements that jeopardize both his career and the team's preparation for the upcoming campaign. The controversy surrounding Rice has woven a tangled web of uncertainty that stretches far beyond a single athlete. The young wideout faces serious charges of reckless racing on a highway and a collision that caused substantial bodily injury, allegations carrying weighty consequences not only in the courtroom, but within the league as well. While the NFL has confirmed that Rice will be eligible to participate in at least the opening 4 contests of the season, his formal hearing is scheduled immediately afterward, leaving his long-term status subject to the ruling of the league's disciplinary committee. Their decision will hinge on the gravity of the charges and the surrounding circumstances. This dark cloud has thrust the Chiefs' front office into an unenviable position, forcing them to balance public support for their player while bracing for the very real possibility of losing one of Patrick Mahomes' most trusted receiving options for an extended stretch. The timing of this crisis could not be more disruptive, arriving at the precise moment when NFL teams finalize rosters and cement offensive blueprints for the season ahead. The potential absence of Rice has sent ripples throughout the organization, compelling coaches and personnel executives to reassess their depth chart and identify contingency plans that might soften the blow. Rice's versatility, his ability to thrive both in the slot and on the perimeter, had rendered him a priceless cog in Andy Reid's offensive machinery, offering Mahomes a precision route runner capable of creating separation and delivering in high-leverage moments. Fully aware of the magnitude of the predicament, Kansas City's decision makers have already begun exploring multiple avenues to address their looming wide receiver shortage. With championship aspirations at stake, the organization cannot afford complacency. Speculation is mounting regarding possible trades, free agent acquisitions, or internal roster adjustments designed to stabilize the receiving core before the season's opening kickoff. One of the most intriguing options on the table is the potential acquisition of veteran wideout Hunter Renfrow, currently facing an uncertain future with the Carolina Panthers. Renfrow presents an attractive candidate for several reasons, chief among them his extensive familiarity with the AFC West battlefield. Having spent the first 5 years of his professional career with the Las Vegas Raiders, one of Kansas City's fiercest divisional rivals, Renfrow established himself as one of the league's most consistent slot receivers. Across his Raider tenure, he amassed over 2,400 receiving yards, maintained an impressive 76.3% catch rate, and notched 17 touchdowns, statistics that underscore both his dependability and his knack for thriving under pressure. Renfrow's innate ability to exploit soft zones and separate with surgical route running made him a quarterback safety blanket and a perpetual headache for opposing defensive coordinators. Yet, his career momentum was derailed when injury forced him to miss the entire 2024 season, raising doubts about his durability and diminishing his market value. Despite the setback, his reputation as a master technician with trustworthy hands endured, earning him a subsequent opportunity with Carolina. However, the Panthers' recent pivot toward nurturing a youthful receiving core may leave Renfrow as an expendable veteran, potentially opening the door for Kansas City to strike. The Kansas City Chiefs now stand at a pivotal crossroads. With Rashee Rice's looming suspension casting a heavy shadow, the franchise is meticulously weighing every possible option to keep their championship engine running at full throttle. And among the most compelling solutions, a calculated move for seasoned slot technician Hunter Renfrow, whose current limbo with the Carolina Panthers may provide the Chiefs with an ideal window of opportunity. Carolina's receiver room has become increasingly congested. with ascending talents like Ted McMillan, Jimmy Horn Jr., Jalen Coker, and Xavier Legette all clawing for expanded roles. Add to that the continued productivity of veteran Adam Thielen, and Renfrow suddenly finds himself squeezed into a depth chart bottleneck that threatens his ability to secure meaningful snaps. For the Panthers, moving on from Renfrow could serve a dual purpose, creating space for their emerging stars while collecting valuable draft equity or assets to accelerate their rebuilding blueprint. For Kansas City, however, Renfrow represents the prototype solution. His extensive AFC West pedigree erases the acclimation period that usually comes with external acquisitions. He knows the defensive tendencies of Denver, Los Angeles, and his former Las Vegas squad inside and out, knowledge that translates into immediate strategic value for divisional showdowns. Combine that with his surgical route precision, high football IQ, and proven ability to dissect coverage, and you get a player who perfectly embodies Andy Reid's offensive philosophy, one rooted in technique and execution over pure athleticism. Yes, rookie Xavier Worthy brings electrifying vertical speed to stretch defenses, but what Mahomes is still missing is a dependable chain mover underneath, a safety valve in crunch time scenarios. Renfrow's craft in short and intermediate routes, coupled with his uncanny knack for exploiting soft zones, makes him an ideal candidate to fill that void. Financially, the gamble is not only feasible but favorable. Renfrow's contract with Carolina is structured in a way that would barely dent Kansas City's already tight cap space, allowing them to make the move without stripping depth elsewhere. Beyond the numbers, Renfrow's professionalism and veteran leadership could serve as a mentorship cornerstone for the Chiefs' younger wideouts, instilling discipline and elevating their development within one of the NFL's most intricate offensive systems. And then there's the postseason factor. Renfrow is no stranger to high-pressure football, having faced the playoff crucible multiple times, including heated clashes against Kansas City itself. His poise under fire and ability to deliver in do-or-die moments could be a decisive weapon in the Chiefs' relentless pursuit of another Lombardi trophy. The timing couldn't be more precise. With Rice permitted to play the opening 4 contests before his hearing, the Chiefs have the luxury of testing their current arsenal while quietly integrating Renfrow as insurance. Should the suspension strike, Kansas City wouldn't stumble. They'd already have a proven, battle-tested weapon seamlessly folded into the offense. This potential acquisition transcends mere roster filling. It's about fortifying a dynasty in real time. Renfrow's precision, reliability, and familiarity with the division make him a puzzle piece that could preserve Kansas City's offensive dominance in the face of adversity. So the ultimate question looms: is Hunter Renfrow the missing answer to the Chiefs' wide receiver dilemma? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button if you're riding with the kingdom, and hit subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns on every move that could shape the road to another Super Bowl. Andy Reid, the offensive maestro, the wizard behind the playbook, when looked at his generational quarterback and said, "Patrick, we're leaving meat on the bone, and I'm not tolerating it anymore." Now that right there, that's not just coach speak. That's a seismic shift in philosophy. Reid has reportedly challenged Mahomes to push the ball downfield more. But understand, this isn't just about throwing a few extra deep bombs. This is about removing the leash. This is about unleashing the most gifted quarterback in football and letting him detonate defenses at will. Think about it. Patrick Mahomes, the man who can launch a 60-yard dart while falling backwards, the man whose throws look like they came out of a Madden glitch, has been operating conservatively, checking down, taking what the defense offers instead of demanding what he desires. Yes, it's kept the offense efficient, but it hasn't struck fear the way Mahomes can. The spark is there, but now Reid is throwing gasoline on it. When Coach Reid pushes Mahomes like this, you see the difference between talent and transcendence. Mahomes doesn't just absorb the message, he weaponizes it. And when he says, let guys have chances to make plays, that's not a casual comment. That's a war cry. Translation, instead of the 5-yard safety valve, Mahomes is going to trust his guy to beat coverage deep. Instead of settling for a check down, he's going to throw with timing, precision, and audacity, trusting his receiver to win. That's what elevates a quarterback from excellent to elite. That mindset, aggressive trust, bold execution, and fearless ambition is what wins championships. And now let's shift the spotlight to the receiving core, because this room is about to become a battleground. Competition breeds greatness, and the WR unit in Kansas City is locked and loaded with hungry, dangerous weapons. Let's start with Rashee Rice. Before the injury, this young baller was cooking. In just 4 games, he racked up 288 yards and 24 receptions. That's 72 yards and 6 grabs per game. Project that out over a full season. You're staring at a 1,200-yard, 100-catch monster. That's not just good. That's elite tier production. But stats don't tell the whole story. What matters is the fire inside, and Rashee's coming back with vengeance. He knows he couldn't be there for his squad when they needed him most, and that either breaks a man or it builds a beast. Everything I'm hearing, Rice is choosing the latter. He's training like a man possessed, not just to earn a roster spot, but to redeem himself. When a player carries that kind of internal drive, that chip, that hunger, you see something special. If Rice stays healthy and mentally locked in, Mahomes is going to have a do-it-all weapon, someone who can line up anywhere and carve up a defense. And then there's Xavier Worthy. Let me put it bluntly, speed kills. And this kid, he's got speed that makes defensive coordinators rethink their careers. This isn't just fast. It's Olympic caliber, GPS breaking, nightmare inducing speed. Worthy is entering his 2nd year. And what's scary is he's just scratching the surface of his potential. He's starting to decode exactly what Mahomes wants, beginning to process the game like a seasoned vet. And that's dangerous, because when you combine blazing speed with mental sharpness, you get game-altering explosions that flip momentum in a heartbeat. The beautiful thing about Xavier Worthy, he's not just a straight-line sprinter. He's got that instant acceleration, the kind that turns a 5-yard slant into a 60-yard home run. The kind of quick twitch movement that leaves linebackers spinning in circles on crossing routes. But the most exciting part, he's building chemistry with Mahomes, that invisible connection that takes a solid play and turns it into a highlight reel moment. Last season, you could see the light bulb flicker on, those flashes where quarterback and receiver were synced, same read, same instinct, same second. And when that becomes second nature, you don't just have a good receiver, you got a defensive nightmare. But now let's get to the part that takes this from intriguing to electrifying. Hollywood Brown, a battle-tested veteran who's played with different QBs, adapted to different systems, and experienced every shade of NFL chaos. And yet, despite only playing in 2 regular season games last year, Kansas City brought him back. That alone speaks volumes. It means they believe. Thank you, guys. See you next video.